Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum dear students. Today we are here with the 7th unit of educational technology. Yes, planning and producing of instructional material. First I am going to give you the introduction about the unit. Instruction is a process of sharing ideas between a teacher and a student. Teacher tries her level best to incorporate the best use of these resources, whereas students tries to utilize these resources to bring a permanent change in their behavior. The main stress of teaching learning resources is to motivate the learners for useful learning activities. Human beings have 5 senses as a main source of information. The thinking process depends upon these sources. We listen many things and try to confirm them through visual impacts. We want to manipulate whatever we have visualized. In the view of all this discussion, we can say that once an idea becomes stronger in our mind, so it's hard to forget that. Actually, our senses assist us in forming the mental images, which are in fact permanent. During teaching learning process, questionings, answerings, probing, presentations, and performing sessions provide the feedback of the confirmation and the effect of learning on students' mind. The audio-visual aids work as the channels of communication between the teacher as sender and student as receiver of the message. Now here, I would like to briefly tell you about the effective utilization of the audio-visual aids. Audio-visual aids play a very important role to increase the chance of making images more clear and perfect. It is very interesting even just to write a topic, the use of chalk or a marker and availability of the teaching board is mandatory. Initial learning when assisted by instructional aid becomes nearer to the resultant learning. Aids are of different types and forms. Like solid aids, they include the objects, models and the diagrams. Ink aids includes charts, instructional sheets and books. Slide projection includes transparencies, slides, films and the PowerPoint presentations. Using new media such as internet, web browsing and lastly many more modern techniques. With these aids, more curricular contents can be presented to a learner in a short time with limited resources. Another use of these audiovisual aids is going to have a role of individualized instruction. Individual differences are due to their intelligence, opportunities and their interest. Audio-visual aids help individuals to experience learning according to their interest, capabilities and vision. Audio-visual aids also promote self-activity and self-pacing. Self-pacing is one of the benefits derived out of teaching aids. Formation of images is another important role played by instructional aids. After this introduction, I am going to tell you about the objectives of this unit. After watching this program, dear students, you will be able to discuss the role of the educational objectives and media in planning and producing of instructional material. You will be able to explain the relevant content and the curricula for producing instructional materials. And you will be able to specify the teaching strategy, models and media to be used in teaching. You are going to appreciate the role of the media in effective teaching. And finally, students, you will be capable to comprehend the production process of instructional media. Things to remember here about the instructional aids that should possess the following characteristics. It should explain an abstract idea and procedural sequence. Instructional media should be visible to class. It should not be confused by unnecessary details. It should be made of local materials, attractive, and it should be eye-catching. It should be portable, easy to handle, and definitely colorful. Charts, drawings, and any work displayed on instructional boards in schools and educational institutions should be protected by any suitable materials, like the metallic sheet should be there, or the transparent sheet should be used to cover these boards. Instructional aids should be selected in such a way are cheap and they are locally available. Okay, dear students, now we are going to discuss about the educational objectives and media. Educational objectives are the kind of the modification that we want to bring in a learner to strengthen his entire educational structure. Educational objectives focus on knowledge, comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. Now, I am going to tell you briefly about all these important elements. Okay, the first is knowledge. The knowledge means the reinforcement, the brainstorming, and remembering about the previous learned material. Comprehension means the way the teacher gives understanding about the given topics. Application means the teacher is going to apply and she is going to work on a topic. Analysis means the ability to assess or analyze the situation and learning outcomes. Synthesis means to put things together and to make something new or innovative. And finally, the evaluation means the teacher is going to evaluate or monitor the things or review the learning outcomes. Benjamin Bloom's in 1956 classified educational objectives in 3 domains. The first was the cognitive domain. It is based on knowledge. The second is the affective domain. It is based on heart. And the third is psychomotor domain. It is based on actions. Bloom's classified educational objectives with specific classroom procedure that is further changed into evolution strategies. As far as we have told you about the cognitive domain and the other domains, first I am going to give you the brief introduction about the cognitive domain. As I have told you that it is based on the knowledge, and the cognitive domain includes the following steps. The first step is remembering, the second is understanding, the third is analyzing, the fourth is applying, the fifth is evaluating, and the sixth is creating. The second domain is the affective domain, which is related to heart. It includes the following steps like receiving, responding value, organization, characterization, and valuing. The third domain is the psychomotor domain. It is definitely based on actions. And this domain cannot be evaluated directly as they cannot be observed and measured. It includes the following steps like imitation, manipulation, precision, articulation, and naturalization. Okay, now we are going to discuss about the curriculum, content, and media. A program especially designed for formal education does not only deal with learning activities in a classroom, but also pays attention to nearly all the activities concerned with the total personality of an individual. Drawing up a good school program offers ample opportunities for the educational processes that is also linked with the informal educational process of the home and we can say the society. Such program would take into account relevant factors, necessary materials, and the activities that contribute to the development of the individual as a whole. A good school program is based on well-structured curriculum which forms the core of educational activities in the learning processes. Now, I am going to tell you about the teaching strategies and media. Teaching strategies are just instructional designs. It consists of guidelines for designing educational activities. These are meant for creating an conducive and learning environment. Teaching strategies and media provide specification for constructing learning situations. It is a plan that can be utilized to shape course of studies. Teaching strategies act as a framework for creating healthy atmosphere in a classroom. Interaction of a teacher and pupils must be encouraged during the instructional activities. Different methods should be used to make teaching as simple as possible. Teaching process is only a weapon to create an appropriate atmosphere in a classroom. Elements of the teaching strategies are very important to discuss here. So, the first important element is the focus. Every teaching strategy has a focus or central point. Teachers should focus or emphasis on important aspects of topic and highlight them also. The second element is syntax or structure. Teaching style and strategies must be organized in such a way in which both teacher and student interact with each other. More, the session should be participative and it should be almost the child-centered learning. The third important element of the teaching strategy is the social system. The teaching process is a social process. The main purpose of this element is to bring the positive change in the behavior of a child and to produce a noble citizen. The fourth element of the teaching strategy is the support system. The main purpose of the support system is to improve the teaching strategy and to bring professional change through monitoring and evaluation. The next important element is the principles of reaction. It means the way in which teacher responds to the activities of students and their behavior. Here it is the entire duty of a teacher to mentor students by providing them different opportunities in a classroom to express their views again and again. After this, the teacher should definitely offer her comments like you did right or incorrect or your answer was not up to the required standard. Okay, the next element is the application. It is the final characteristic element of a teaching strategy. The element of the application explains the effective use of the application in teaching, because every teaching method has its own special conditions. Okay, so it was all about the important elements of teaching strategy and media. Now we are going to discuss about the important strategies and models of teaching. Dear students, there are three important strategies to discuss about the models of teaching to develop a model. The first important model is Glaser basic teaching. The second is the concept attaining model strategy. And the third is inquiry training model. Okay, now we will discuss about the first model of the teaching, that is the Glaser basic teaching strategy. This strategy defines the relationship between teaching and learning. Bruce Joyce and Marsha Valley in 1992 called this strategy the classroom meeting strategy. This strategy is also known as the basic strategy because the fundamental principles of the psychology are used in it. Glaser has divided this method of teaching in four important elements. The first was about the instructional objectives to explain a class before teaching. The second element was about entering behavior of a student. The entering behavior means the pupil's previous knowledge, level of intelligence, motivation and learning abilities. It is the job of a teacher to understand all these attributes of a child, and she should plan her instructional objectives accordingly. The third important element was about the instructional procedures which are related to carry academic activities. The instructional procedures should not be static, it should go on changing along with the instructional objectives. The fourth element reflects the performance assessment. It is used to test and observe the level of the achievement of the instructional objectives. In this way, both teacher and student come to know about their performance or other success, or we can say the failure. Different gray areas can be removed by applying this element. Further to tell you here that the performance assessment element consists of 6 important methods. The first is observation, the second is questionnaire, the third is rating scale, the fourth is projective techniques, and finally the fifth is interviews. So dear students, it was all about the first model of teaching. Now we move towards the second model of teaching, that is the concept of attaining model or strategy. Through concepts attaining, a pupil learns the similarities of the various aspects of the atmosphere and learns to establish a relationship between them. J.S. Burner introduced concept attainment model and categorized them in 5 important factors. The first is about the focus. The main aim of this model is to develop inductive reasoning by which the students learn the description about the process to get knowledge of classifying about views, persons and things. The second was about syntax. Syntax based on 3 stages. The first stage is the information sharing stage, in which the student is going to give some information and he is going to give some help about the different examples, and with the help of different examples the concepts they are going to be cleared. In the second stage, the students analyze the shared information, but in the third stage, students prepare and write a descriptive information on shared information. Okay. The third factor of Brunner model is the social system. Under this element, teacher controls all the designed activities, but surely give them freedom of discussion at various stages of teaching. She also encourages the student participation in discussion to boost up their morale. So in this way, students finally start to analyze the concept and the strategy. The fourth factor is the support system. In this strategy, the knowledge about new concepts is given to students. Here, the written examination is more helpful, in which essay type questions given to the students to evaluate their progress. The fifth and the last factor of Brunner model is the application. Application, basically the concept attainment model is used to learn languages and also help in learning mathematics. Now students, we will discuss about the third model of the teaching, that is inquiry training model. The model was developed by Richard Shaman that helps in dependent learners. For example, it involves students in different activities like puzzle game or the technical, or we can say the critical activities. Inquiry training model has important elements to tell you here. They are the focus, the structure, the social systems, the support system and the applications. So these were the same the elements that we have already discussed in the previous models also. Okay. Now we will move towards the use of the educational media by a teacher. The educational technology is playing an important role for a teacher in a classroom in order to incorporate the quality education. First, I am going to give you the characteristics features of this. It provides the scientific basis to teacher work. Educational media helps teachers to enhance their strategies to overcome individual differences. It has made the use of television, the tape recorders or radio FM, or we can say the students, they are going to get this opportunity and they are going to be benefited as far as once they are at distance. So, this is very useful for the students at the distance education. Educational media has also introduced systematic analysis. This method is an opened door method to discover the new ideas and methods in a classroom teaching and training. It helps to understand the nature of education. Educational media made teaching learning process useful, effective and purposeful. It increased the efficiency of the teachers and to do the research work also in the different fields. It helps the teacher in specification and to save the time. Educational media also helps the teacher in playing the role as organizer or director or advisor. Media is effective for individualized instructions and also provides the mass communication approach. As we have discussed in our last units, like in unit 6, about the role of the educational media in effective learning, in which different gadgets of teaching learning processes have been told you, like about the projectors, the recorders and the preparation of the transparencies. So, it was all about the part of it. But now in this corporate culture, education demands the technology to work on. And for this purpose, once again here, I will definitely emphasize on or focus on the e-learning, where nowadays teachers, they are trying to incorporate education by multimedia, making PowerPoint presentations on it, using moderate graphics or animated reflections to foster teaching learning process effectively. Now, I am going to tell you about the production of instructional materials. It is a very important topic to discuss here. Self-instructional material is especially written for individuals to learn by themselves without any assistance from another person. It is also called as self-instructional material and also the part of the programmed learning. Now, here I would also like to tell you about something about the qualities of the self-instructional material. The first important quality of the self-instructional material is reading material is presented in a smaller unit to enable the learners to understand the concepts and the information step by step. After this, the students has been given equal opportunity to share the feedback about his learning. As the individuals do not have the opportunity to interact with each other or even with the teacher or a trainer, so that a good time and effort is spent on the preparation of these materials. Now, I am going to tell you about the steps involved in preparation of self-instructional material. The first step is the selection of the subject and topic. The second is the clear statement about learners who are likely to use the material. The third is materials objectives. The fourth is searching of the content matter. The next is decide the programming strategy, then arrange the subject matter, construct the frame, passages or unit of presentation, test the material individually and evaluation of self-instructional material. So dear students, it was all about this unit. I hope you would understood all the important factors of the unit and will follow the given directions with the true spirit and implement them in daily teaching learning procedures. So see you next time with another unit of educational technology. Till that time, bye bye and Khuda Hafiz.